Howdy, 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 everybody, and I'm going to be doing a review of the G1 Climax Tournament 2017 from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I did do a few English commentary videos. I was wanting to try to hit all of them, but, even just doing the tournament matches, it takes time to record it, then you have to wait for it to render out, and if you don't really keep on top of it, you get behind, and then before you know it, you're like three nights behind, and it's just too hard to keep up with it. Unfortunately, I tried, but other things kept getting in my way. But I can go ahead and do a review. Other people have as well, but I'll go ahead and do one of my own. And I do have some few things to say about the tournament. There were things that I really enjoyed, a couple of things that annoyed me. Oh, well, I guess the only one thing that really annoyed me, and it's not going to be what you're thinking, probably. You're probably thinking it'll be the Toriano Kenny Omega match. That didn't bother me at all. I enjoyed that. What annoyed me was Toriano beating Michael Elgin by disqualification. Now, I started watching New Japan in 2015, the G1 Climax, after not watching pro wrestling for about 12 years. 11, 12 years. Other than, I think I saw the first One Night Stand for the ECW's return. I checked out one or two of the ECW reboots episodes, saw that it was just going to be WWE to death. It wasn't really ECW and stuff. Screw that. Watched some indie wrestling videos here and there. Other than that, didn't really watch wrestling for a long time. The point is that since I started watching New Japan in 2015, I've watched consistently since then. I don't think that I've seen a single match end by disqualification. Not one. Now, I don't watch every single show. I try to watch all of the big shows, but not necessarily all the Road 2 ones. So maybe there have been DQs in there somewhere and I just missed them. But all the ones that I remember watching, I don't remember seeing a single disqualification. Now, I've talked about my issues with New Japan and their rules before. It's like, I just like some consistency. New Japan is supposed to be one of the promotions that's a bit more realistic. It's a bit more sports-based. A bit more old school. It's a bit more realistic. It's a bit more consistent. It's supposed to be. But they're not consistent about their rules. And I've said this before, and I'm going to do an entire video about it at some point with my smarking off thing that I do, just talking about pro wrestling topics, but I don't have a problem with different kinds of rules, like ECW and their hardcore rule system. I don't have a problem with that. I also don't have a problem with more old school rules, as long as they're consistently enforced. And I understand that pro wrestling is an art form. It's a form of kind of oratory, but it's performance art. It's a performance. It's theater meets sports, basically. It's a physical form of theater. More physical. So they're trying to tell a story, and I understand that, but, if you're not going to enforce your rules consistently, then all you're doing is creating inconsistencies within your storytelling. Plot holes, essentially. So, having Toriano win by a disqualification when they never disqualify people, especially not during any kind of high-profile matches, I don't know who came up with the finish. I don't know how hands-on Gedo and Jado are. As far as I know, they're the bookers. I don't know about their use of agents for the wrestlers during the matches. I don't know how much of that goes on in New Japan. I don't really care to either. So it could have been Toriano or Elgin that came up with the finish, easily. But whoever came up with it should have gotten in trouble, because just the sheer inconsistency of that finish bugged the hell out of me. It's like, if you want to do the ECW style thing and not really enforce rules, then do it. Don't act like you have rules but not enforce them. Or if you're going to have the rules, then you need to enforce the damn things. One way or the other. Just pick one. Either way it's fine, but consistency. Also, like the interference during a lot of Suzuki's matches, I don't like interference in matches. I want the competitors, the people that are supposed to be telling the story, I want them to tell the story. I don't want other people getting involved. For more than one reason. But, one, even if there's cheating during the match, cheating with the bunny ears, keep it to the people who are in the match. But even then, I kind of feel like cheating of any kind, interference, any kind of cheating, is an outdated way of working a pro wrestling match. You're trying to tell a story, I understand that, but if you're going to maintain that feel of sport that's kind of the core of pro wrestling, and I talk about this elsewhere as well in the Sparking Off video, sports have become absolutely obsessed with cheating. If they even get the smell of cheating, they'll be all over your ass. It doesn't matter if it's professional, American football, or soccer, aka football everywhere else in the world, baseball, rugby. It doesn't matter what the sport is, Olympics, anything, the luge, it doesn't matter. They are absolutely fucking obsessed with cheating of any kind. But still, in pro wrestling, you will have the most idiotic, blatant, right in front of the ref cheating at times because they're stuck in the past in some ways. So, if I've got any, I'm going to say a few things, kind of critiquing individuals. But if there's any one part of this video, if somehow somebody in New Japan were to see this video and take anything from it, your rules need to be consistently enforced and stop with all the goddamn cheating. Suzuki Gun, and even some of the Bullet Club antics, and occasionally the Los Ingobernables de Japón, although they've gotten a lot better about it. The cheating and the interference needs to stop. It needs to go away. It really just doesn't work anymore. And get rid of Tai Chi. The dude has nothing. He's a prop comic with no jokes. I've said it before, I'm saying it again, the dude is just annoying. And not in a way you want to see him get beat. He's just annoying, you want him to go away. There's a reason why people in the crowd have been chanting, "Go home" to the guy. He's annoying. So, I'm not saying you can't work some cheating in here and there and allow the wrestlers to tell their story, but you need to have some more craft to it. If you're going to try to maintain New Japan as having that more sporty feel to it, then you got to acknowledge the fact that sports is absolutely obsessed with cheating, and everybody is being watched all the time. Even if you aren't recording, the audience is. Nobody should be able to just get away with shit anymore. The idea that the ref has to see it these days, when that has not been the case in any other actual, legit with the bunny ears sport for ages, pro wrestling needs to move on. Cut the bullshit. Okay, so that was kind of a bugbear for me during the tournament. But other than, it may seem like I'm really ragging on the whole tournament. I'm not. It's just specifically those things. The cheating by Suzuki Gun, the interference in particular, and that finish of the Toriano Elgin match. Those bugged the hell out of me. I'm sorry I ranted about it for so long, but they really did get on my nerves, and I needed to say that. But other than that, it was an amazing tournament. It really, really was excellent. Lots of surprises. Going into it, my prediction was going to be it was either going to be Okada or Omega winning to set up another match at Wrestle Kingdom. So I was very pleasantly surprised at the outcome. We'll get to that in a bit. So let's just kind of go over the individuals involved. Highlight matches, there were a lot of them. Practically every main event was on fire. Like I said, I enjoyed the Toriano Omega match. They were pretty funny. Suzuki Yano was pretty damn funny, actually, because I don't mind a bit of comedy pro wrestling here and there. All the matches, for the most part, were pretty good. So I'll just kind of get to the individuals. I'm very surprised Yuji Nagata and Kojima only got one win apiece. I mean, I was expecting at least 2 or 3 wins between them, or each, but no. So that was interesting. Yuji Nagata and Fale at the end there was pretty interesting, a very touching moment there at the end, and also Gorillas of Destiny bowing to Nagata during on the final night of the tournament was kind of a touching moment. Again, that brings up another inconsistency thing for me in the Bullet Club. It's like, if you want to be like, Stone Cold or Roddy Piper-esque anti-hero types, then do that. But don't be doing that and then be heels. The whole back and forth thing, the inconsistency. I was saying that in the past about Omega, Kenny Omega, and I don't know, maybe somehow what I was saying, or maybe I was just saying something that was very commonly said, and somehow the overall feel of that got back to him, but whatever the reason, and I'm not saying that I definitely had something to do with it. I have no idea. I don't know who watched any of my videos when I was talking about that stuff. And I don't know, maybe, like I said, other people could have been saying the same sorts of things. So I'm just saying that I was talking about how I didn't like the inconsistency of Omega sometimes doing matches without any interference, and then every now and then there would be interference from the Young Bucks. Just the inconsistency of the cheating, and sometimes cheating, sometimes not cheating. So then it's not long after I was doing those videos, again, other people could have been saying the same thing, he kind of stopped doing it. I was very pleased to see that. I don't know why it happened, but I'm glad it did. And I wish that the rest of the Bullet Club, again, just pick one. If you're going to be heels, then be heels. If you're going to work babyface, even anti-heroes, Stone Cold, Roddy Piper, even The Rock, you're going to do kind of 90s anti-hero babyface style stuff, then do that. Just pick one. Stop with the inconsistency. Los Ingobernables, I like how they finally settled into kind of an in-between. They're kind of anti-hero. They cheat a little bit here and there, but like the Bushi and the shirt, and Evil in the chairs. And again, sometimes I do have to wonder if somebody there is watching my stuff, because I made a comment about Evil, how Evil should do more with the chairs than just the thing around the head, and then he kind of started doing it. So I don't know. It's a little bit strange. I have no idea. Doesn't really matter, but I was, again, pleased to see that he started working more of that in. So, again, some of that hardcore element, I don't mind bringing that in. And, Bushi and the shirt, there's a little bit of, there's some storytelling involved, and it's not really cheating. It is, but then it isn't, because he isn't trying to win the match with it. He's just kind of screwing with his opponent. There's some nuances to how they do it. So, Los Ingobernables, for the most part, is settled into kind of their own style of doing things, and it works. Usually they don't jump people. Well, they do it all the time, but they're just as likely to get jumped these days because of Suzuki Gun. So they're still a bit heelish, but kind of anti-hero-ish. So again, I just wish that Bullet Club members would pick one or the other, or try to find the happy median that works, instead of the back and forth inconsistent crap. But still, the touching moments were fine. I suppose even a jerk can show respect towards somebody that they do respect. So it's not that I have an issue with that. Just overall, again, a bit of a bugbear with me in the Bullet Club. I just wish they would be more consistent. Let's see. So Yuji Nagata and Kojima, like I said, a bit surprising with those two. I don't know what Kojima's going to be doing. I haven't looked up to see if he's decided to retire from doing G1s. I know Nagata decided that going into this one, it was going to be his last one. So I'm just looking at the results here on the Wikipedia page for the G1 so I can see everybody's names and points and everything. Yoshihashi got 4 points. He brought out some new stuff this year, but nothing much in the way of his style changed, nothing much in the way of his persona changed. I talked about it during my commentaries. I'm kind of worried that he's already gotten himself into a rut. And he really needs to get himself out of that if he wants to move forward with his career. Elgin did pretty well with 8 points. There was all 5 guys with 8 points in the B block. But still not too bad at 8 points. Mostly was at that because of Toriano and that stupid finish there. Actually, I don't have a problem with Toriano beating him. I just have a problem with the DQ finish. It's just stupid. But he didn't do too bad. He had some damn good matches. He brought out some new stuff. He definitely showed some agility, some additional agility, doing some more high-flying type stuff, which was nice to see. It's like, pro wrestling, it's a performance-based thing. You have to keep evolving. You can't get stuck in a rut. Like I said, I'm worried about Yoshihashi because I'm worried that if he's gotten stuck in a rut that he's not going to get any further in his career. Toriano is Toriano. He does his thing. I think he's perfectly happy with his position in the company, so no worries there. Togi Makabe, I think kind of a similar situation. I think I made the comments that maybe he should change things up if he wants to get further, maybe try to get back in the title scene or whatever, but then he's kind of got his own thing going with a thing about like sweets and pastries and stuff. I think he's got his own TV show, so it could be for him that New Japan is almost becoming his second job, his second career. He's got something else going on outside of it that's working out real well for him, so if he's happy with it where he is, that's fine. Ishii, Tomohiro Ishii, I think he's one that he could use some changing up. I mean, I know that he's got his style and he does things his way, and that's fine, but maybe he could just use something a little bit extra to him. Maybe he could use a manager. New Japan doesn't really have managers that act as mouthpieces too much. But, maybe he could have somebody that comes out and talks shit a little bit or something. Just something extra to give him a bit of an edge or something. I don't know. Again, I'm worried that he might have gotten stuck in a rut and he's not going to be able to get any further without changing things up a bit. Juice Robinson, 8 points, didn't do too bad. One of the best stories of the tournament, I think, with the injured leg and coming back from that to get a couple of wins late in the tournament. So I really enjoyed his progression through the tournament. Really good matches. I still think he needs a new finisher. I've never liked the Unprettier as a finisher. Maybe it's just me. It looks like it's just way too easy to get out of. For him, I could see him doing something like a diving bulldog sort of a move as a finisher. That would tie into those DDTs he started using and some of his other moves that he's been using. So, like a springboard or some sort of diving bulldog, I think would be a good finisher for him. And then for big match situations, he could bring out that Unprettier. So it's not like he has to get rid of it. I just think he can use a better general finisher for regular match situations, and then kind of the way that Goto. That's a very Japanese wrestling thing. Old finishers become signature moves. So instead of using it as a signature move, though, he can use it as kind of that ace in the hole for a late game in a big match situation, and then use something like a diving bulldog or a blockbuster sort of thing as a main finisher. Zack Sabre Jr., some of his matches are pretty good. Some of them are a bit boring to me. I don't have a problem with mat wrestling. It's just that I think he spends too much time on the mat, but at the same time he doesn't. It's something about his style. It's like he transitions too often while staying on the mat too much. At times, it's like he's moving too much at times and then not moving enough. There's something about his style doesn't gel with me for some reason. It's not that he's bad, it's just he really needs an opponent that he meshes well with, and sometimes he doesn't get that. A Sonata, not too bad during the tournament. Busting out the moonsault was cool. He started showing some new stuff. He's started working. He's progressing. He's evolving a bit, so that's always good to see. I don't have any real criticism of him. Kota Ibushi doing real well. No criticism there. Tama Tanka, maybe a little bit stale. Maybe he could have changed things up a bit. My main thing with him is that he goes for the cutter too much. You know, the cutter is supposed to be a move that you hit out of nowhere. It's like he needs to watch some old Diamond Dallas Page tapes, videos, and really get a feel for the move and how to use it to its best effect. It's a great finisher. It is an absolutely awesome finisher. He just needs to get some better ideas on how to use it better and get that feel that makes it work so well as a finisher. Is just you can hit it out of any position, from any angle, at any time. Just that constantly going for it over and over and over again, it looks stupid to me. Hiroki Goto, again, I'm worried about Goto being stuck in a rut. I think he has the potential to be a main eventer. I think he could hold the world title for a while, but not as he is now. I think he needs to turn heel. I think he needs to turn on Chaos, maybe join Los Ingobernables or something, and turn heel. I could see him holding the world title, working as a heel, maybe busting out that Jinsei Jinsaki style makeup and stuff like he used that one time. That looked pretty cool. Going a bit darker, being a bit more spooky. Not like evil necessarily, but being a bit more vicious and, just heelish, like a brutal heel. Kind of like what Evil's doing, but then Goto style. I want to see Goto in there. I want to see Goto doing Goto, but I would like to see him working as a heel, I want to see him change things up. Because, he's one of those ones, his matches are always good, but he just needs something extra. He needs to change things up, because I think he has a world title run in him. I think he really does, but not as he is now. Suzuki, some of his matches were pretty good. I don't like the interference from Suzuki Gun. I've never liked interference matches. I hated the NWO back in the day. But other than that, his matches weren't that bad. Again, he's another one that really needs somebody that can work his style. He's very clunky in the ring at times. So, not too bad, but, if he wasn't in there with somebody that could work a style that he could work, it got repetitive with him because he just brawl on the outside, then go for the sleeper. So, it wasn't bad, but not the greatest either. Evil, very impressed with his performance. I like that he started changing things up, introducing new things. Started doing more with the chairs, like I said. He showed a lot. I think well, do I want to talk about that yet? I'll talk about it after I get done going over everybody. Tanahashi, great performance as always. Okada, great performance as always. My only issue with Okada was I think he could have lost at least one more match earlier on. I'm kind of worried that they're getting to a point where Okada might start annoying people because he's winning too much. That definitely can happen. Overexposed, too many wins. Just one too many times when it looks like he should definitely stay down and be beaten and kicks out anyway. It's cool once sometimes, but you do it too much and it starts looking a little forced. So that's a bit of a worry. Omega and Naito both performed excellently through the tournament. And their finale was great. That was a hell of a match. I was expecting Omega to win it. I'm very pleasantly surprised to see Naito won. I'm very glad Naito won because I would like to see a Kenny Omega Naito rematch for Wrestle Kingdom. Omega beat Okada, which means he should get a title match. What I'd like to see happen is Omega beat Okada and face Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. I'd like to see Okada have a feud with Evil. I'd like to see Tanahashi have a feud with Ibushi. I think that could be pure money right there. Tama Tanka, I think, has gone back to the tag team division. I don't know what Sonata's going to be doing. Juice Robinson is going to be in there. I think we're going to get Suzuki Elgin. There, it looks like they're working towards Elgin and Suzuki for the Never Openweight title. I'm expecting Omega will probably drop the U.S. title to someone. Now let me look here. He lost to Juice Robinson and... let's see. I remember he lost to Juice Robinson, Omega. Yeah, he lost to Juice Robinson and he lost to Elgin. So Elgin's going for the Never Openweight title. I could see Robinson taking the U.S. title. You know, I could see that happening. I could see Robinson taking the title from Omega, then Omega taking the title from Okada, and then Omega and Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm not predicting it, it's just what I would actually like to see happen, because it would be interesting. Then you could have something like Robinson feuding with Los Ingobernables, Sonata, maybe, or anybody really could be interesting. Zack Sabre Jr. might have a feud with Tanahashi instead of Ibushi, or they could have a three-way feud going on there. Goto, again, I think Goto needs to change things up if he wants to get back in the title scene. Ishii needs to change things up, I think. And I'm not, Togi Makabe might be hanging around just biding time for Hanma to come back, get back in the tag team division scene, which they need. Unfortunately, I've said this before too, New Japan, they either need to get more tag teams in or they need to just combine their tag team divisions, because I think as it stands right now, they have one full-time junior heavyweight tag team. They've kind of thrown together Taguchi and Ricochet as a tag team, and I don't have a problem with that because they worked well together. But I think their only full-time committed tag team, they don't have one, now that I think about it, because the Young Bucks don't work full-time for New Japan. They also work for Ring of Honor and other promotions. So I don't think they have a single full-time tag team in the junior heavyweight division anymore. Not since Roppongi Vice split up amicably. But still, I don't think they have a single full-time tag team. Now they've brought back the two huge dudes in the heavyweight division, and they've got those guys. They've got Guerrillas of Destiny is a full-time tag team for the most part. They've still got Kojima and Tenzan Tenkozi is a tag team. They get Hanma back. It'll be Makabe and Hanma again, so they'll have a few tag teams in the heavyweight division. Established tag teams, and they can establish more. They can do Sonata. I want to see Evil do singles competition, so they need, like I said, Goto could turn heel, turn on Chaos, and join Los Ingobernables, and he could form a tag team with Sonata. Okay, that would be an interesting tag team, and that could lead to some singles action down the line for Goto, perhaps, or Sonata, I think Goto really needs to change things up if he wants to get back in the title scene, and they do need more tag teams. So, like I said, they either need to get more tag teams in, or they need to just combine the two divisions. They keep adding more titles in, and they don't have enough people to cover them at this point. So they either need to start merging some titles, getting rid of ones like that. The six-man title is kind of a failed experiment at this point. It's hardly ever defended, and when it is, it changes hands almost every single time, so you never really get an actual feeling that there's a team that's been formed and it really gives a shit about these titles. So that's something I think that probably should happen. So I think that really wraps it up. Just some thoughts about New Japan in general, where I'd kind of like to see him go. What I think some of the guys probably ought to do. But overall, the tournament was awesome. It was a great tournament. I mean, there were great matches all the way through. You were never 100% sure at times who was going to win each block, even though it was probably going to be Naito and Omega all along. That was my prediction heading in. Either Naito Omega or Naito Okada. But I could have seen Tanahashi winning the A block and going up against Okada for the finale, and Okada winning and then wanting a match with Omega. You know, I don't think Sabre was ever going to win, but it's possible if they really felt that he was good enough to at least have that finale match with someone. You know, Okada or Omega for the B block was always my prediction, but I could have seen Elgin winning, potentially. So it was never gonna, never 100% certainty, which I like. I don't like being able to predict things too easily or closely. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. So, thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.